Hey friends, thank you all so much for being here today. A part of our third grade team, what we've been doing the last like 4 or 5 months or so is we've been doing some reading interventions. We noticed our scores were low, so we decided to partake in a quantitative study that was created by me. And I think we really did a great job with it. Honestly, as I look through the data, I know you can see the data and see that maybe we didn't get the exact results that we were hoping for, but I see a promising trend in that data. And I think for the first time ever doing that study, I think we did a fantastic job. So what I'm proposing is that we do another similar study, a quantitative study where we collect data about their, you know, scores prior to any intervention, and then we do data on post-intervention as well. What I'm hoping from you guys is one thing that's great is we have a small team. I want us to kind of talk through and see some of the things that you guys thought benefited your students the best in our interventions last time. Something that I did right before this meeting, it was like a few days before this meeting, I went ahead and polled my students and asked what they thought was the most beneficial to them of what we've been doing in our interventions. In our interventions, we had been focusing on like small group reading, we've been focusing on independent reading, and then we've been, doing a lot of read alouds, or not a lot, but we were focusing on read alouds as well. Of all of those things, my students, it seemed like pretty much, 75% or so of them said that read alouds were the most beneficial for them. They were able to ask questions, they were able to get answers immediately, they were able to work with groups and talk to each other about reading throughout everything. They were also able to see like exactly what component of reading we were focusing on that day in a whole group setting. So with that being said, I was thinking we could talk about ways, what I want us to do this time is I want us to kind of sit here, and my plan of action is for us to talk about ways that we can maybe implement some more read aloud strategies, so that each one of us can go and do, the same things in our own classroom in our own way, but present it in a way that continues to push that growth. And I honestly think, I know that our last test, the hypothesis was rejected. I believe if we continue to do some similar stuff, whether it's changing genres now that we have new standards, I still think that similarity and the way that we present our information will benefit our students really well. And then also including the things that they've already kind of expressed that they really liked about it will continue to get our hypothesis even further near being accepted. And I honestly think this go around could be that. Last time on the data, there was, still growth. There was pretty clear growth. It wasn't enough for our hypothesis to be accepted, but it was kind of trending in that direction. And I think if we continue to do some of those similar implementations, then we will get that done. So I'm planning some stuff with read alouds. I've already got selected a few read alouds that I think will be really good. You guys will hopefully follow my lead in that, and we will all do the same read alouds. I think that'll benefit, the entire grade level, because the kids will be able to talk about it. If we're going one chat, like a couple chapters a day, and I'm not saying we'll all be at the exact same pace, but the kids are able to go and kind of discuss not only in their own classroom, but they can talk to their friends outside of the classroom, and that'll help as well. For you guys, what I want is I just want you guys to have that buy-in, have that belief that, hey, this is going to work. If you look at our old data, which I have it up here on the board, you can see that there is quite a difference between the kids that were in those intervention groups and the kids that were not. Even though our hypothesis was rejected, there was still some substantial growth from that intervention group. And I think if we continue to try and grow that intervention group, we will see the results that we are looking for. I think we could maybe go a little bit faster with this one since we've already done it once. So last time we did it in 4 months. I'd like to do this one in 3 months and then see where the kids are at. So similar to the last one, we will, give the kids a reading assessment at the beginning before any interventions. Then we will split the class and we will go from their scores without intervention to their scores with that group that doesn't have intervention and that group that did have an intervention. The thing that I'd like to focus on in this intervention is providing the students with read aloud. And read aloud can be whole group, it can be small group, it can be anything. The thing that I'd really like to focus on that we didn't really do that much on the last one is selecting books that we're able to get in every student's hand. Now that could be small groups, so we only need 6 or 7, or it could be whole group. Like I know we have Peter Pan sets, stuff like that, where we could, we can have a book and then we can give every student in the class a book as well, so that they're following along. That also makes it really easy for us to make sure that they're actually reading, or actually at least following along with our reading, whether they're like fully reading. They might be focusing on listening to us, but they're at least looking at us and engaged, because they're going to see when we flip the page. And if they don't flip the page, I don't believe that they're probably with us. To check the results, what we're going to do is, like I said, similarly, we'll do a reading assessment at the beginning. As we do that reading assessment, we'll be able to see where our baseline is. We'll do the intervention for 3 months. After that intervention, we'll check again. We'll give them that same reading assessment and see the growth that they're able to have. If they're able to show more growth than they did previously, then I think we've kind of proven that our intervention was working even the first time. And now that the kids are even more familiar with it, they're growing. And honestly, we're growing too. That's why I appreciate all of you guys being here, just sitting down and talking to me about what you thought went well. I think we all came to a pretty clear consensus that read alouds are something that our kids really enjoy. They really like to do, and they love it when we read and we get up there and we give them a good example, and we give them a good person to kind of look up to as a reader. Like, we have good expression, we're able to read very fluently, and we don't go too slow, and we don't fly through it. And that good example can sometimes be everything that, readers at this age need. They're 8, 9 years old, so they kind of just need to mirror what we are doing. That's really it. That's about what I have. This is going to be, like I said, the quantitative study. So we are going to be doing this study based on the scores that we are given. One thing I would suggest is listen to your students as you're going through it. If they have, ideas or something that they have, feel free to ask them. Be like, hey, how'd you feel about this read aloud today, or this lesson today? We still do want to provide that independent reading time consistently, but I would tie that independent reading time into your read aloud time. So read aloud in small groups, while one group's at small groups, the other kids are independent reading. Besides that, thank you all for being here. I appreciate all the stakeholders for showing up. I see that I have a lot of support, not only from you guys, but special ed. Thank you for being here. I know your schedule's really tight, but I think this is a really important thing for us to do. If we can continue to progress what we've already started from that first implementation plan, I think we'll see full success, and we hopefully will get our next hypothesis accepted. Thanks again for coming. The rest of this planning time is yours.